Jim, we're going to start with you. So let's take out that crystal ball of yours and predict an ideal Mets trade deadline.
All right, so I have a couple ideas I want to get these guys to take a look at. And we know that the Mets could use a little bit of offense. They could use pitching. So there's a little bit of everything here. Third base would be an option for Eugenio Suarez, who the Diamondbacks just recently have been talking about selling versus buying. Or Cedric Mullins. We saw Mullins there last week with the Orioles. He could certainly upgrade center field. So that would be an upgrade on the position player front. On the starting pitching front, I would target either Merrill Kelly, with the Diamondbacks, obviously, and you could take Clay Holmes and move him into the bullpen. Or old friend Seth Lugo has been fantastic. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And there are a couple of relief targets. There's one righty, one lefty, a couple different left-handed options. Pick one of those. They're all pitching fairly well. I like Zerpa or Herron the best, but they're all pitching well. And I think Estevez or Bednar. I like Bednar a little bit better. So I think any of those would be fits there for the Mets here moving forward.
I like Seth Lugo a lot. I'm a fan. He's been consistent the last 2 years. He leaves guys on base like 89% of the time, which leads the league. And obviously he's familiar with New York. So I'm a fan of what he's done in Kansas City so far.
And it would be kind of funny, poetic justice for him. Like, you always wanted to be a starting pitcher for the Mets. They would never let you. And now they have to give up prospects to make you a starting pitcher for the Mets and kick Clay Holmes with the bullpen to boot. I like your ideas, Jim. The human side of managing Holmes on that is something I would need to report on a little more, like what exactly he was promised and what he wants to do. Because it's part of, they signed him because they said they would make him a starter. But it's interesting where that idea where he's getting in with his innings, that they would consider that. The one name I would add, or maybe swap out to that list or add to it in center, Harrison Bader. If the Twins end up selling, he's having a good year. Jose Siri was supposed to be just a cheaper Bader. The only reason they swapped Bader for Siri was the difference of several $1 million there. So if you could just bring him back for half a season, they know him, they like him, and he catches the ball and hits a little bit. To me, that might be your center field upgrade right there.
Yeah, I mean, I like the starting pitching idea with Seth Lugo, obviously. I think for a lot of different reasons. Pitches deep into games, too, which is great for a bullpen that's been probably overtaxed. And I think that the Holmes thing is going to become an interesting thing as we go along, because he's really rapidly approaching the innings. I won't say ceiling, because it's not like a hard cap there. But so if you can get a guy like Seth Lugo to help out your bullpen and get Holmes in there to be like a strong setup guy, we obviously know he's been an elite closer. So I'm wondering how those things might work. As far as Mullins in center field, I wonder if a change of scenery thing is going to help him, because he just really hasn't had a Cedric Mullins kind of year. And I wonder if it coincides with the fact that neither have the Orioles. So I wonder if he just really hasn't been into it. We see that a lot. Guys change places, they get into a race, all of a sudden they've reinvigorated their career right there. So that's a possibility. And David Bednar I like a lot. Relief swing and miss guy. Another guy that's turned around his season after a very slow start, got demoted, came back, is now the David Bednar that people know. So I think that's a good guy on the list, too.
It's hard to know, too, right? Because of the expanded playoffs, teams are in it longer. There's huge races in the wild cards. So we aren't quite sure who's going to be available yet. But, Andy, I wanted to ask you, because you've been talking to the front offices, there's also a logjam on the infield for the Mets. What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, teams, in terms of outside perception, teams obviously perceive a chance to get some infielders from the Mets, potentially in the right deal. So I would say, every team has its own evaluations, but I talked to a GM that's also looking for infields. Like, well, what do you think about all these guys? And the perception I got from that person was Ronnie Mauricio. There's a feeling that might be the guy with the highest ceiling, the one that they would expect the Mets least to part with. Like, hold on to him, not only because they haven't fully seen what he can do because he hasn't played much, but because there's so much talent there. Regarding Brett Beatty, I'd say there's a sense that he had like zero trade value at the beginning of the year. And the fact that he has rejuvenated his career a little by showing some defensive versatility, and not just versatility, but some skill in the middle infield, which surprised a lot of people, that there's some value, and there might be some value for the Mets in selling high on Beatty right when he's built up some value. Then you look at guys like Vientos. Look, I think the Mets probably would listen on Vientos in the right deal, but if you talk to Mets people on this, they're very cognizant of the fact that they don't have a first baseman under contract for next year. So the risky thing about trading Vientos would be, who's your first baseman next year? So that's something to remember there, too. And finally, I guess the other guy would be Luis Angel Acuna, whose ceiling is probably like a high-end utility guy, so they like him, they would keep him, but if somebody came calling, you can get the right piece for Acuna, you'd probably do that if you're the Mets.